It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are talking to Lewis Rice of Lewis Rice Jackson Hewitt Accounting Services. We are talking about the Arizona tax credit. It's that time of year you really have to start thinking about these things. And things have changed, all for the better, I think. So we're here to talk to Lewis about that. Lewis, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me here, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
This is great. When I first moved to Arizona and I heard about the Arizona tax credit, I went, what? And everybody was, well, this, that, and the other. Oh, no, there's fears around it. There's misinformation around it. And my take on it is, wow, money that I would give to the government, I can choose where that money is going to be spent and have it go locally because I have to give it up anyway. Why give it to the government and have them just do whatever they do with it when I can have it go here and still get credit for it? That was like, who thought of this? This is the most amazing program ever.
Isn't it, though? And I keep thinking they're going to take it away every year because it is so great. And, especially it stays local, the funds and stuff. And everybody, you can see it happening, helping out schools, helping out other charities and stuff here locally, and that is so wonderful.
I know. Do you have any idea on the figures that just stay maybe in, say, Yavapai County alone? Just how many hundreds of thousands of dollars benefit our community by people who take advantage of the Arizona tax credit?
I don't, and that would be a good thing. I should probably try to look into that. We always run out of time at the day. We need that 48-hour day instead of 24.
I know.
But I hear from different schools and charities and stuff. Like some years they get 80,000, some years 120. So it's quite substantial.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many good ones out there. So you can pick and choose and screen them. One big thing, it's not as common, but when the credit first started, the charities have to reapply every year. Bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So there's just some forms, and they got to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and stuff. And the first couple years, some charities weren't aware and stuff, and so that they were good to go for a couple years, and then they might have dropped off and stuff. So that's something you should double check. You need to be a wise taxpayer and giver,
right.
and they always say you should vet. This day and age on the internet, you can give to so many places, and it's so easy, but not all of those spend the money wisely, and that's one thing you see it work locally here. And so it's important.
Right. They have to be a qualified charitable organization.
Exactly.
Meaning their paperwork's in order and they're good to go.
Yes. And then the other thing to remember, so when you donate to one of the Arizona charities that qualify for the Arizona state tax credit, you can also take a donation on this federal side if you itemize deductions as a charitable donation. But in order to do that, it has to be in the calendar year of the donation. So if you want to take a federal charitable donation, you have to do it by December 31st of 2017. Well, there's been a couple changes with the Arizona state tax credits. One big one is you have until April 15th of the following year to give for the prior year. So you might have until April 15th of 2018, and you could give money but claim it on your 2017 Arizona state taxes. If you do that, though, the money you give in 18 would have to wait for 18 for the federal tax donation, charitable donation. So I need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's good to know, though, more ways to give money. Because, if you go, oh my gosh, I got to hurry up and give money now. But if you go, I have a little bit of time, I can really make a nice decision, vet my organizations, things like that.
Yeah, so you come down in April and you're filing your taxes and you see you owe the state of Arizona $100 or $200 or $400 or $1,000. You can look at the different charities. So like this public schools, married couples can still do $400. Private schools, you can give over $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a big difference there. And then there's the general tax credit. They used to call it the working poor credit. Now it's just general tax credit, which, like the Old Town Mission, the Senior Center, those are real popular ones you can give to. And then they have a foster care credit, and that's $1,000, and that really helps out for,
oh my gosh,
there's so many kids in foster care and stuff. The general tax credit now is $800 that you can give for a married couple, $400 for single. So there's a lot of opportunity to give and benefit the community and benefit your bottom line taxes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing's in it, it's not tax credits, but I mentioned this to you before, and I hear it on countywide and stuff, but a lot of people aren't, there's so many scams out there, and the IRS scam is still very, very prominent, and you'll get a phone call saying you owe the IRS, you didn't file on time, or you did file, but it was incorrect, and you owe us money. IRS isn't going to make that phone call. They're not going to ask you to pay for it with a, iTunes card or a prepaid credit card. But a new one is somehow they're getting better at hacking information. They know people who actually owe. And so when you do owe and you know that, and maybe you've been making payments or something, and maybe you missed one, and now you get this phone call and yeah, I do owe and stuff, but they're not going to call you. You'll get a letter, a registered letter, if it goes that far. So don't pay the IRS with iTunes cards or prepaid credit cards.
Pretty much how scams seem to be working. If they call you and ask you for money and it involves a prepaid card, it is a scam.
Yeah.
Across the board, we're seeing that.
You just have good people. Excuse me. You just have good people, and they know that they owe some money or something, and they want to, make it good.
Right.
But don't do it that way.
Ouch, that's amazing. They're able to figure that out and hone in on those folks that own money, and you go, oh gosh, well, okay, this will take care of it. Let's take care of it right now. I'm sure they're super nice and convincing, but yeah, the IRS won't call you. There's a lot. In fact, most people won't call you and ask you. If somebody calls you and asks you for money, hang up. Period. These days, that's the way it is. But that's frightening. That now there's the IRS scam as well. So,
it is.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, and so we've been talking about the Arizona tax credits and how if you owe taxes, if you owe money, if you owe $100, $1,000, whatever, you can choose to give that to a local charitable organization, be it a school, be it a charity organization, or now, I love it, the foster care.
Yeah.
That's truly an amazing, that's new, isn't it?
It is. It's like 2 years old. So
yeah, that's something, because I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, and they tend to do that. They're adding different ones and stuff. With Veterans Day coming up, we'd thank all the veterans for their services and stuff. But there's an Arizona Wounded Warriors one that qualifies under the Arizona tax credit, and there's other veterans organizations that qualify under the Arizona tax credit. On az.gov, if you go there, and then you go over to the Arizona Department of Revenue, they have a listing. You can click on it, and it has a full listing. It's in alphabetical order. I wish that they would do it by zip code, and we've asked them that a number of times. But anyways, but you can look through there, and there's tons of organizations.
Very good. So check out az.gov if you want to look for a list there. We're talking about Arizona tax credits with Lewis Rice from Lewis Rice Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. We will be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. We're sitting here with Lewis Rice from Lewis Rice Jackson Hewitt Tax Services in Cottonwood. You can give them a call, 928-639-1155, if you have any questions after the Countywide, which I'm sure you will, because I'd have never-ending questions about tax things. We've been talking about the Arizona tax credit for a list of the charitable organizations which you can donate to. Dollar for dollar, your taxes that you owe goes to charitable organizations in our area. Just wipes it clean. It's really awesome. Control where your money goes. Check it out on az.gov. That's where the list is. So again, the amount now has changed because we've now added the qualifying foster care organization. So let's talk about single head of household, the married filing jointly. How much of our tax debt can we take and give to our community?
Okay. So on the public schools, the total is $400, and that's for a married couple. So if you're single or head of household, you could give $200. For private schools, it's just over $2,000 for a married couple. So if you're single or head of household, it'd be just over $1,000. And then the general tax credits, you know, once again, senior center, Old Town Mission, those types of credits, the Wounded Warriors and stuff, is $800 for a married couple, $400 for singles. Now the foster care, you have $1,000 for a married couple or $500 for individual single head household. So there's quite a bit of money there. And then the other thing though that we briefly mentioned, in order, if you itemize your donation or your deductions, you know, medical, charitable donations, property taxes and stuff. In order to take that in the year, you have to give before the end of the year, December 31st. Most of the credits now allow you to go to April for the previous year, but then you'd have to carry that charitable donation for 18 on the federal side. So
I see.
You just got to keep a little bit more record keeping if you do that.
Right.
Once again, we're looking at the wonderful communities we live in, here in Tri-City area and stuff, the Verde Valley. People give all the time. And, the bonds for the schools, we know they're underfunded and people stepped up and kept that in place. And that's great. Our teachers do a wonderful job with, what they get and stuff. I think schools are underfunded, and it's nice that the community, keeps that in place and helps with that. And, it's just another way to give more. And, and I think it is a black hole. You send the tax money down to Phoenix, and that pothole that gets filled, it probably cost them $200,000 to fill that pothole. Where you can give $1,000 here, and it stays here. You can see it touching lives and helping out.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it at my daughter's school. They built an amazing building, some of which came from tax credits. They gave us the rundown, and hundreds of thousands of dollars came from tax credits in just the past 5 years, which is truly exceptional. And I was every year, you know, how much money can I give the school? So can I give the school as a head of household, single person, $200 goes to the school? Okay. Now, can I then I do $400 to a qualifying charitable?
Yes.
Okay, and then $500 to a foster.
Yeah.
So that's $1,100 I can take out of my tax debt and give to my community.
Yeah. And if you did really well in the stock market this year and you have a big windfall, you could give another $1,000 to a private school if you so chose.
Private school.
Yeah.
Right, rather than give it to the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So $2,100 of my tax debt can stay in my community.
It can.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is, and like I mentioned, I keep thinking every year they're going to take it away, but they haven't, and it's, you know, a lot of people do that, and it's great that they can. You know, you can actually plan and start now, and maybe you only give $25 a month, but you could budget, and schools and charities, you know, they don't care if they get $25 now or $100 later. You know, they just appreciate the
that's
giving.
nice.
And
that's
so
nice. The IRS doesn't do that with you.
not at all. You know, you figure it out, and they want this chunk of money right now. And so, you know, if you plan that way, because you know, here holidays are coming up, and it's tight always, and so it's a little harder to give like you want. So you do have that 4 months in 2018 that you can still give for 2017.
Great.
But, you know, plan a little bit, and maybe you start and you give throughout the year.
Now, what happens if I've given, say, $1,000 to the community and my tax responsibility is only $800?
Oh, good question, Jennifer. So right now you can take that extra $200, will roll over to the following year, and you have up to 5 years to use that up. Okay. And so maybe the next year you give $200 less than what happened.
I see. So it's like overpaying your bill. They give you a credit for the next bill.
Yep.
Kind of like your cell phone.
Right. Yeah. There's another one.
You get a credit. Yeah. Oh, so it's a win-win. See, I see people so fearful about this whole tax credit thing, but because they think they're going to lose. They think they're going to lose more money. It's going to cost me more money. You know, what happens if I overpay? And they're afraid. And what I would love to dispel that fear. Just say, wow, guys, look how great this is for the community.
Yeah. And if you are worried about that, you know, save up the money. And then when you go to file your taxes, you can see what your actual state of Arizona tax liability is. And then you could give, because you have that little leeway to pay for the previous year.
Right. Oh, I'm so excited. It's like happy shopping. This is just so great because I get to shop around the community, help everybody in the community, and instead of here, government, take my money, I think this is the greatest program. I really do.
It's a wonderful one. Like you said, it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Yep. There's absolutely. I just don't see anything negative in it at all. I don't see any possibility of losing. I don't see any detriment at all. The money that would go to God knows where with the government is now going to stay local. And you're right, I'm seeing it all around the community.
Yeah. You know, our community is very good about giving and looking after others and making things better and looking for the future. And that's wonderful. And in this way, you can be part of that and help out your own liabilities, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Check out az.gov if you want to see the list of organizations. Of course, we've got public schools, private schools, charitable organizations, qualifying foster care organizations. That's all new. Check that out at az.gov. We're talking with Lewis Rice from Lewis Rice Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. In business for 25 years. The guy knows what he's talking about. We've got to take another short break for Countywide, but don't go away because we'll be right back.
Captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
she doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber. You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
And welcome back to the final minutes of Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. We've been talking with Lewis Rice from Lewis Rice Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. We've been talking about the Arizona Tax Credit Program, amazing program, dollar for dollar, the money that you owe in taxes towards the government, you can take and keep certain amounts around our community versus giving it to who knows who on the other side. You can keep it here and see it as it goes into your community and creates wonderful changes in the community, which is awesome. Now, we've been talking about how you can give to schools, private schools, foster care, charitable organizations. Now, Lewis, one of the things you just mentioned to me is that that money, so that $200 that I'm going to give to my daughter's school, you're saying I can say, and I want you to use it in the music department, and I can do that.
You can. So you could just give it to them, and they can put it in general and use it wherever. But you have a special interest. You participated in band or music when you were a child or went through school and stuff, and you saw the good that it did you. You can return that and put it to the music department. You can put it to computers. You can put it to sports. So you played softball or volleyball or football or whatever. You could ask it to help those after-school programs and stuff. Different. All sorts of FFA. Yeah,
that's a good one here.
That is. It's very popular, and they just sent a good group of kids back to Indianapolis for the national convention for FFA and stuff. I heard there was a local kid, I think out of Chino, that is one of the national officers this year.
Wow,
so
that's great.
Or it was a Buckeye. Well, somewhere.
But tax credits could have helped him get there.
Oh, yes. Those tax credits. Field trips. So you have kids in elementary school and stuff, and there's field trips. You can put money towards field trips and such. And even high school, they do these different activities and such.
That's so interesting. And field trips, that was a big thing for me because I never went anywhere as a kid. So when we had a field trip at school, that was always so exciting. But I know that, a lot of parents in the area can struggle with putting forward the money for the field trip. So if someone has given their tax credit and says, I want this to go towards field trips, can they even take it one more step and get specific as to what grade and perhaps what child?
So yes, you can, and a lot of grandparents and stuff do that. They might live down in Phoenix or something, but their grandchild attends up here, and they know that their child is going to be doing certain trips and stuff. Yes, you can do that.
Wow.
And, yeah, you mentioned that you don't get out very often. How often do we make it over to Montezuma's Castle? And the kids, they're able to do that on the field trips.
That's true.
Lowell Observatory up in Flagstaff. You know, there's great things to do around here, and we're so busy, you know, taking care of day-to-day things and then just things around the house and stuff that we don't always get to those places with our children.
We can help the kids do it through the Arizona tax credit. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dollar for dollar of your tax liability can go to help out the community, the schools, the children, the charitable organizations such as the Mission, and now the foster care organizations. It's really awesome. Thank you, whomever thought of this.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I think it's great. I see the good that it does in our community. Louis, thank you so much for being here today. If we have questions, can we call you?
You sure can.
Okay.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You've been watching Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. We've been sitting with Louis Rice of Louis Rice Jackson Hewitt Tax Services talking about Arizona tax credits. We will see you next time on Countywide. Thank you so much.
Thank you.